This relationship with information that you're describing, where you present to evangelicals, hey, here's some evidence on, let's say, COVID or whatnot. I think one of the most powerful forces that Trump has tapped into is this anti-institutional sentiment.
Yeah, 100%. I use the analogy that for a long time, the relationship between people in the world I grew up in, evangelicals, their relationship with, the news media in general and institutions, non-religious institutions mostly, their relationship to that world was very strained. If I think I used the metaphor of a tree, where the branch or the connective tissue between evangelicals and secular media or secular institutions was hanging by a thread, and Trump came along and really snapped it in half, and then kind of brought a lot of people with him into an alternative epistemic universe. And I think that issue of epistemology, how do we know what we know, is at the root of so many of the issues driving our cultural political dysfunction today.
Yeah, especially
It's
now.
why, yeah, it's why I think Jonathan Rauch's book, The Constitution of Knowledge, is so important. And it's a start. Jonathan's book is a starting point because it's dense. It needs a lot more like bringing out of the lessons he talks about into real world applications. But if we can't kind of establish a baseline of how we produce knowledge that everyone can kind of share as a starting point for disagreement and debate, and also a system for resolving those disagreements without violence, then we're going to continue to see, I think, a lot of the dysfunction that we're talking about or that we're seeing. And I think, you pointed to it, there is this parallel universe that I grew up in, which in some ways was motivated by a sense that we know better than people who are not like us or don't believe like us. But it also creates that sense of opposition, that sense of we're going to be persecuted, they're out to get us, and so all of that is what was going on for a very long time before Trump ever came along, which was a big part of the mix. And I'm really glad that you are perceiving the ways I think that the book lays out how the ground was seeded for a long time.
Hey YouTube, glad you're enjoying the podcast. If you really like it, hit subscribe, and then YouTube will notify you every time we have a bang up new guest. Thank you.